Woodley.
Okay, gentlemen, you understand the rules you fight under. You listen to me at all times. You keep yourself protected. When I say stop, you stop. If you want to touch, do it now. Let's do it.
Woo! Woo! It all comes down to this. Tyron Woodley and Kamaru Usman. One man leaves Las Vegas, the undisputed UFC welterweight champion. Will it be the -165 favorite, Tyron Woodley, or will we be saying and new and Kamaru Usman? Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Usman is in green, Tyron Woodley in the black and gold, befitting a champion.
Usman immediately moving forward, putting pressure on the champ, keeping an eye on that big right hand. Got to hold the single.
Straight to a guillotine attempt in Woodley.
Oh, he doesn't have guard. He doesn't have guard.
He's on the wrong side. Woodley needs to get his left hip to the mat. That guillotine's gonna get a little tighter.
It's hard to see what he has under the chin. It looks like he's around the face.
I don't think he's under the chin. I think he's right across that jawline.
He doesn't have it at all anymore. He doesn't have his hands clasped together. But now Kamaru is on top.
So right now you got Woodley holding on to the chin, but it kind of burns the arm out when you just squeeze like that. So Usman's okay here. He knows he's safe, so he's just kind of softening it up. Woodley's looking for a space to get his hips out. He wants to get that right leg off the floor and get it out from underneath so he can wall walk, use the fence. So now he's got to get his left hand on the floor, Woodley. Underneath the chin of Usman.
And Usman keeping pressure on him. He wants to scoot his butt away from the cage. Stay on top of him.
You've got your wrist, Tyron, I can see.
Woodley complained to the referee that Usman was grabbing the glove. Mark Goddard said it was legal.
Now there, that bottom leg, the one that's on the mat, that's the one that matters to keep Woodley on the floor. And now that Woodley's got that knee on the floor, he can stand up. He's just trying to break the lock of Usman. First.
Let's go to work, guys. Let's stay busy, please.
He's up.
Woodley came in with the highest takedown defense, 97.6% of any fighter in any division in UFC history. Wasn't necessarily taken down there by Usman.
Nice knee to the body by Usman.
This is the type of fight Usman wants.
Yes.
This fight gives him a great chance, and if he can keep it here, we'll go back and forth with Woodley.
Those are good knees to the body there by Usman.
Scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds to decide this UFC welterweight title. Just over 2 minutes here to go in round one.
Usman's always shifted a little bit off to the weak side of Woodley, as you see, just off the line of sight for that right hand. He's always shifted. See how he takes his head to the weak side every time. Back to the single.
Woodley, two-time Division I All-American wrestler and Big 12 champ at the University of Missouri. Usman, three-time D2 All-American, a national title his senior year at 174 pounds. Big right from Usman, yeah.
Nice knee to the body again. Usman's doing a fantastic job of closing the distance and getting a hold of Tyron and keeping Tyron up against the cage.
I like this plan for Usman because in the early rounds when Woodley's got the most power, the most strength to land it, and the best timing. So if you keep him in this wrestling, you take away a little bit of the power from the right, and you kind of take away some of the timing and the speed as well. So it just kind of makes it a little bit more even in the striking realm when they do separate, because Usman's being able to create these early transitions.
It's good body work here by Usman. Good right hands to the body, good knees. And we've seen that Usman can keep this up for 5 rounds, like he did with Dos Anjos.
And to be fair, Woodley likes this style of fight too. He's good at staying against the fence. He likes to let guys wear themselves out trying to take them down on the fence. That's his game plan. So they're both kind of playing their game, to be honest.
So Mark Goddard chooses to intervene there. Wasn't seeing enough action. Less than 40 seconds now to go on the round.
What Woodley's good at, he's good at touching you to get you to start reaching for his hands, and then he comes over the top when you start reaching with the right hand. And that's what we just saw a second ago. He's done that to everybody he's fought.
Usman continues to press forward, appeared to land there partially.
Again, more body work by Usman. He's really working that right hand to the body very well.
He goes to a knee tap, transitions, tries to switch to a double. Woodley does a good job getting the underhook.
A strong start for the underdog challenger. Tonight's corner cam brought to you by Body Armor. Make the switch to Body Armor, the official sports drink of UFC. More natural, better sports drink. Grab one today at Circle K.
Get the towel. Johnny, get the towel.
Never mind, we got it.
Hey, get some water. Get some water. All right. You absolutely have to go forward, okay? You cannot back up. You got to get behind your jab, point your forehead, go forward. Let's use some hand speed, okay? And don't forget about that leg kick. His leg is right there. But you got to go forward. You got to point your forehead and go forward. You understand me? Let's go.
Let's go, baby boy. Those combos, when you just let him go, don't look for one big result. Throw numbers. Secondly, when he kicks,
UFC 235 Jones versus Smith is presented by Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Well, one of the more interested observers tonight, the former UFC interim welterweight champion Colby Covington, most popular guy in the building, Joe.
He is quite a character.
So here we go, round two. You heard Duke Rufus and Dean Thomas there, Joe, in the corner of Tyron Woodley. They want more volume, more forward motion here in round two.
Yeah, Dean was adamant that Tyron can't move back. He said, you've got to move forward. And Duke really wanted him to throw combinations. And Usman is back to the same strategy. Look at him, just relentless pressure, moving forward. And the thing about Usman, that's the other thing that they were calling for, was the leg kicks. The thing about Usman is he can do this all day.
Yep.
And it's one of his strengths. He has incredible cardio.
Might be the most conditioned welterweight on the roster with respect, of course, to the champion Woodley, but Usman using that jab, Dom, to get inside and working here in the clinch again.
He's also consistently working that body.
Yeah, he's closing the distance well by double jabbing his way in, but Woodley's, I agree with his coaches, he needs to move forward more because he's getting so far behind on the numbers and the octagon control. However, this is also Woodley's live by the sword, die by the sword tactic. He waits until you make one mistake, and then he's waiting for that right hand. And he only needs one opportunity to land it. So it goes both ways. Usman's making the right game plan, staying high on the numbers, staying high on the offense.
He hit Tyron with a big elbow.
Let's see what Woodley can do.
That was a big shot.
Woodley retreats, then he thought about a takedown, nothing doing.
Wow.
Usman's just out wrestling Woodley right now. From beginning to end of this match so far, he's been out wrestling him.
Full mount.
And he has cut Tyron, excuse me, Joe, right by that right eye.
Woodley's just flat. Looks like he's a little bit static, just hanging out. He's waiting a little too long. He's not keeping the non-stop movement. And so Usman's just getting tighter and tighter and tighter with each movement. You can pay now or pay later.
Right.
We've seen Kamaru Usman have sensational performances. The question was always, how good is he when he fights the best of the best? We're finding out now. He's very good.
And even when he wasn't getting finishes, Joe, he's beaten guys 30 to 25 times 3. I mean, he has been dominant every step of the way in his UFC career.
And the question was always whether the champion could stop that kind of assault. And this is incredibly impressive. This is the most dominant we have ever seen anyone against Tyron in a fight for the title.
Well, nobody's been able to out-wrestle Woodley at all, ever. And Usman is.
We mentioned
especially like this.
The takedown defense, #1 in the UFC all time. That was only the second time he's ever been taken down in the UFC. Rory McDonald, the other to do it.
And I think the reason why Usman's been so successful is exactly what Woodley's coach has said. He's waiting too much. So he's always a step behind Usman.
Oh, he's getting beat up. This is just a shockingly good performance by Kamaru Usman so far.
Under 2 minutes here to go in round 2. It has been all Kamaru Usman thus far. More than a round already of control time for the challenger.
Old school wrestling, they call this the honeymoon ride. You do the math.
Mark Goddard allowing Usman to work here from the dominant position as he has Woodley mounted.
Well, Tyron has got to do something to get out from under here.
What does he do, Joe?
Well, he's got to get his hands on the hips, pop his hips up, hip escape. But the problem is, every time he moves, he gets hit with shots.
I like to see Woodley get to a hip, push his elbows on the knees of Usman, then use your hands. But right now, staying flat on his back, it's not going to be pretty.
The thing is, every time he goes to move his hands, he's eating big elbows and punches. It's very difficult for him to move here, and this is because Usman's doing a fantastic job of controlling the offense in this position. Now Tyron's trying to sneak out the side, but Usman puts a stop to it. He's doing a great job of grapevine the legs as well. See how he's using his insteps and his shins to control Woodley's legs. Very difficult to get out of there.
And being annoying by trying to interrupt the breathing pattern, keeping his face open-handed on Tyron Woodley's mouth.
Yeah, this is hard without strikes. It's hard to move. Look at this. He's looking for an arm triangle.
Woodley doing the right thing with that back arch. He doesn't want Usman to get that elbow on the other side of his head, so he's keeping it straight and trying to block it. And Usman's trying to wear the body out so he can't stay in this back arch for too long. He's only got to wait 13 seconds. But if he lets his back flat, Usman, there it is, right there. He gets out.
But still,
dominant round.
Incredibly dominant. Look, and still does not get, tries to pop the hips, does not get anywhere with it. Amazing round for the challenger.
Maybe a 10-8 given the new scoring system.
I would imagine that's got to be a 10-8. Let's take a look at the big elbow that started off. That is huge, right on the temple. The big shot of the fight right there. Now look at this takedown. And this is really incredible. Look at the power and the technique of Kamaru Usman. Moves into mounts, big ground and pound, huge elbow. This is the most trouble we have ever seen Tyron in a title fight.
Shove him off and get afterwards, all right? Let's wake up a little. Just do slow start to black, okay?
Hey, don't go back in a straight line, son.
Okay, let's go forward and fight off. Let's quit waiting for him to kick us. Let's step him off, okay?
Yeah,
Your guard is up. You have an exposure for 1 minute, then it's done. Okay? Okay. Hey, look at him strong. Look at him strong. Look at him. He's still in his chair, man.
Round 3 is brought to you by P3, the official protein snack of UFC. Third round of a possible 5 here. The incumbent Tyron Woodley would appear to have some work to do, getting all he can handle thus far from the plus 140 underdog Kamaru Usman.
Well, he's lost the race so far, but it's a marathon, so we still got another few rounds to see what can happen. Couple rounds, I should say.
He's got to keep his back away from the cage. And his corner desperately wants him to move forward. Kamaru ducks under that big right hand.
Look to see Tyron switch it to an uppercut.
I'd like to see Tyron go to that leg kick as well. There it is. He's got a thunderous leg kick. His huge calves and all that power. Nice knee to the body by the champ. But again, Kamaru digging with that right hand to the body. I mean, he's working so hard on that. Look at that, constantly digging. I mean, they will sap your energy. He's so relentless with that. That is nasty stuff, folks.
So once again, early in the round, Woodley has been rendered defensive with his back up against the fence.
The length of Usman is causing a lot of problems, too. He's so long in that body lock. He can keep his hands locked and just stretch so far away, Usman, that the height is just an issue in this wrestling. These underhook transitions are tough to deal with the taller men.
19 body strikes landed in that recent exchange. 82 already for the Nigerian Nightmare Kamaru Usman.
Again, just digging to the body, the same spot over and over and over again. And this will absolutely pay dividends in the later rounds. This is going to sap the endurance from Tyron Woodley.
Mark Goddard pretty quick with the trigger there to pull the fighters back to the center.
if there was a punishment index in this fight, you would see that Kamaru Usman has dished out so much more punishment so far. With all the ground and pound in the second round, all these vicious body shots and knees to the body in the clinch. I mean, it's just a dominant performance for the challenger so far.
Complete control by Usman right now.
I think you're onto something. We need like a damage index.
Yeah. Oh, again.
Nice punching on the breaks. And now he's continuing to make adjustments, Usman. He's wrestling, breaking, punching, going back and forth. Woodley, the problem is he's backing up and he's not throwing combinations. He's looking for one big knockout punch and he's not piecing combinations together, so he's not getting the respect of the striking from Usman. So Usman's able to link together combinations and then get to the wrestling.
And it seems like he's looking for openings that do not present themselves.
Well, he's looking for the knockout punch. That one big special punch to land instead of setting it up and just staying working, staying offensive in order to set up the big punch. He's just looking for one.
And you wonder how much those body shots will start to take their toll if and when we get to those championship rounds. Less than 2 minutes now to go round 3.
I mean, this is a horrific number of body shots that Kamaru Usman's landing. And they're not soft punches either. They're very hard. And he's hitting the same spot over and over and over again. Look at this. And there's a knee.
What's interesting to me is Woodley's smart enough to know that these numbers are adding up. And he's okay with just squeezing. But I don't know if he's like planning something, but he's way behind on the numbers. He needs to get busy ASAP.
Over 100 body strikes have landed for Usman. He's mixed in those shoulder strikes as well.
Why are they separated?
I don't understand
that. I do not understand that. And Kamaru's just moving forward.
Now we're seeing Usman slide a little bit farther towards the right hand of Woodley. He's not staying as far on the weak side. There it is. That's what I'm saying. You've got to stay calm. And that's what Woodley waits for, is just one mistake. But he waits sometimes too much, I think. He needs to keep his foot moving like that.
But Usman still moving forward, even though that right hand glanced off of him, didn't stun him. Back to the same spot. Nice elbow on the break by Usman.
Kamaru again closes the distance. Too strong when Woodley changes levels. And as you said, Joe, Kamaru can do this all day.
He really can, and this is what's terrifying about this. For a guy like Woodley, who's getting beat up here in the clinch, hasn't had any successful moments in 3 rounds of defending his title. Really, one glancing right hand is the best that he's mustered so far. I mean, that's just incredible.
15 minutes in the can.
Incredible performance so far by Usman. I'm blown away.
Down 3-0. You got to go offensive. Don't keep your composure.
Listen to me.
And do your job. Keep your
You gonna let this
composure.
motherfucker do this to you? You gonna let him back you
gotta
up?
let your hands
Come on, man.
go.
We don't work too hard for this.
Let's
We
go,
work way
man.
too hard for this. All right? You need to fucking bite down on your mouthpiece and start going forward right now. I'm
gotta
serious.
keep
I'm not
letting
playing
your
with you.
hands go.
Bite down on your mouthpiece and go forward.
Hey,
Get some water.
Listen, you did so great last week, throwing numbers. Just trust yourself. You're amazing.
Trust yourself. Throw that
Don't
uppercut.
drop down
Throw that
so much.
uppercut.
Let your
Don't
hands
go
go.
over the top with that right hand.
When
Come
he
up
rushes
underneath
in,
with it.
let
He's
your
ducking that
hands
right
go.
hand. Come underneath with it with the uppercut. All right? But you need to bite down on your mouthpiece and start throwing punches. Let's go.
Desperation in the championship corner. Dean Thomas is not mixing his words. He's letting Tyron know he's got to do something. He's got to do something big. He's down 3 rounds. And most likely that second round was a 10-8.
Dom, how much of that is easier said than done?
All of it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Woodley looks asleep is the problem. To me, he just doesn't look awake. He looks like he's just not awake right now. He doesn't look like normal Woodley to me. He looks like he's just waiting too much. They're trying to wake him up. That's what you're hearing.
Well, I think it's the body punishment. I think that's a big part of it.
He's looked this way since round 1 before he even ate a shot. He hasn't woke up since the minute of the fight.
I think he was looking for openings in round 1, but then once Usman got a hold of him and started hitting with those body shots, it just started wearing on him.
There's the uppercut. Just waiting too much.
Nope, didn't get it.
He's going for that one big thing,
Yes.
Woodley. He just wants the finish, just a guillotine, a submission, one big knockout punch. And Usman's better with, I'm just going to stay working. I'm going to keep the offense going and let things add up until I get what I need or I go to the decision. That's why Usman's getting so far ahead and Woodley's just waiting and countering and just behind.
In nearly every interview Kamaru Usman did this week, he kept saying, Tyron's not willing to run the race that I'm willing to run. It's been Usman's race tonight.
Well, he's taking him into the dark waters he talked about. The control time in this is just huge for Usman. I mean, over 10 minutes of control time. So when was the last time you seen Woodley ever get wrestled?
Not like this.
Never. So this is the difference maker when you're facing high-level champions. You got to fight them a different way, and this is how you're seeing it. Nobody's had the wrestling of Usman, though. And right now, Usman's okay with just squeezing his body lock because there's no damage being taken, and Woodley's not doing anything to get up. But the ref will probably stop or stand him up soon because there's not a whole lot going on.
Oh, Usman has stayed busy.
I think they shouldn't, but I mean, Woodley's just almost waiting.
I really genuinely hope that Mark Goddard doesn't stand them up.
He's getting warned to work while working.
I don't think they should, but
I think you should have to earn a stand.
I agree.
I think you should have to stand.
But he's been breaking them. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I don't know why either. Well, it's a real problem in MMA. Nice elbow from the top.
Usman goes from controlling the hips to controlling that bottom leg, taking the back. I mean, he's really just out-grappled Woodley the whole time.
Nod to Greg Jones wrestling.
Well, he's kind of outdone everything. He's outstruck him, he's out-grappled him, he's outworked him.
He turned it into a dirty wrestling match.
Yeah.
He turned it into a cheating wrestling match, and he didn't even have to free strike him in the open. He just took away all the power from Woodley, keeping him on his heels, and then smothered him with the wrestling and the dirty boxing and the dirty wrestling.
Now he's smashing him here with his shoulder. Look at that. Over and over again.
And Woodley's almost like, it doesn't hurt that bad, so I'm just going to eat it. But he's smart enough to know this looks bad to the judges, and he's down on the numbers. So I'm not sure if he can't counter, if he doesn't have an answer, or if he's just tired.
Let's go, guys, last time.
Less than 2 minutes now to go in this fourth round of a possible 5. You see the control time for Kamaru Usman. And
right there. Turn around. Listen to me, Kamaru. It's a fight. Tyron, turn around.
I mean,
Fight.
What does that mean?
Well, Mark Goddard doesn't know how to wrestle. That's what that means.
I just don't understand why he would say that. How does he not know it's a fight? He's winning a fight.
Well, he's seen them wrestle, and he thinks that's not fighting. There it is.
Big knees by Usman.
couple nice uppercuts from Woodley.
Oh, nasty knees. Elbow. Look at him smiling at him.
And he's shifting to the weak side. He walked away.
Big uppercut.
That goes
he's hurt.
Two more.
He's hurt. Woodley's hurt, guys.
Woodley's in trouble here. Big uppercuts. The end could be coming.
He's hurt.
Huge punches.
Big
He's looking to finish it here. Woodley's trying to get his respect back, but he can't. They're both hurting. But Woodley's hurt bad, though.
Look at this.
Woodley showing the heart of a champion as he absorbs these power strikes from Usman. Huge uppercut.
More shots by Usman.
Woodley looks out on his feet to me. Trying to get it together. Last 30 seconds.
Usman just blew a lot of gas out of the tank right there, though.
That was an incredible amount of energy. And he's kept an insane pace in this fight already. So Usman is in stellar shape.
Final 10 seconds of this fourth round.
Look at how Tyron's standing there with his legs locked, standing straight up. I mean, he is exhausted here.
I think he's just a little bit hurt.
Both.
4-0 Usman.
Look at him. He is wobbly and hurt.
What are the coaches going to tell him?
Sit up and breathe. Listen, breathe, son.
Come on,
breathe.
sit up.
Hey, you got to fucking fight now. Do you want to win this fight?
This is Eric Thomas up here. No BS. How bad you want it? We got to go up here and make this a street fight. The only way we're winning this fight It's Saber KO. I'm being truthful with you here.
Hey,
So let's get
when you were
after it.
punching the combination, you were doing good.
What's going to happen?
What's happening?
You think he's got it? Yeah. Look at him. He needs a knockout, so keep it sharp.
Kamaru Usman 5 minutes or fewer away from completing his mission. We'll see if Tyron Woodley goes for broke.
He has to go for broke. If Usman is just standing at the end of this round, in my opinion, he's done enough to win the title. This has been an incredibly dominant performance by the challenger.
I agree 100%, Joe.
I think it's 2 10-8 rounds. That last round was a 10-8 round. And I think Usman is looking to close the show.
Woodley definitely knows he's down on the numbers. He definitely knows he's not doing enough. He's looking for the guillotine a lot. He's looking for the right hand. But he's also not really listening to his coaches. It's almost like he's not awake to me. Like he didn't warm up. He wasn't warm. I don't know.
Kamaru's got to be careful here. His neck is caught.
If he does go for the single leg here, he's got to jump to the other side of Woodley's right leg.
Usman doesn't appear fazed by Woodley's arm around that neck. Trying to dump Woodley here, it goes!
Big takedown for Kamaru Usman.
Less than 4 minutes now to go. It has been all Kamaru Usman tonight.
If Woodley continues to hold on to that neck with his left arm, he's very much in danger of getting Von Flue choked here. As Kamaru Usman is leaning, especially with where Tyron Woodley's head is. Kamaru Usman's leaning his left shoulder into the neck of Tyron Woodley.
Usman's got to lock that hand down by locking his hands underneath the head of Woodley and grabbing that around that arm. The fence is almost stopping that Von Flue attempt.
We should almost call it the Oven St. Preux at this point.
Pretty much. I think you're right. That's fair.
He's got more of those than anybody.
We'll call it the OSP now.
Under 3 minutes now to go in this welterweight title fight. Tyron Woodley has gotten all he could handle from Kamaru Usman.
Kamaru is basically out of half guard here. All he has to do is just lift his right leg up and carry it over.
Amazing to think that Kamaru Usman only started his MMA training in 2012.
That's insane.
Certainly the wrestling credentials were there, but walked in a green striker in 2012.
Coming from an Olympic wrestling alternate background, I mean, the work ethic that he had crossed over very well, and we're seeing that in 7 years of MMA, he's been able to hang with one of the best.
Not just hang, dominate.
Keep him out, Tyron. Keep him out, please.
Just complete control out of Usman in the grappling. Woodley just seems okay to take it, though. That's what's interesting. It's like he's not really trying.
I just don't think he knows what to do.
He knows what to do.
He's getting so beat up. I don't think he knows what he can do at this point.
I just think he's so far behind.
No fighter prior in the UFC or Strikeforce had taken Woodley down more than once. Almost 3 full rounds, more than 3 full rounds of control time.
Kamaru's covering his mouth.
I think the pace of Usman is just incredible, too. I mean, the pace that he's been keeping, he's the whole time trying to finish this fight. He's never just coasting. He's never just waiting. He's nonstop working from the guard, from the up in the clinch, everywhere. Great pace by Usman.
I mean, everything about this performance is impressive.
I agree.
He's won every single round.
Pretty much every minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. Not arguing.
Less than a minute now to go. It looks as though Tyron Woodley's welterweight title reign is going to come to an end at the hands of the Nigerian nightmare Kamaru Usman.
If it doesn't, there's going to be a riot. If somehow or another the judges get this one wrong.
no way the judges can mess this one up.
Yeah.
There's no way.
It's one of the rare fights you can absolutely call.
I agree.
Well, for Henry Hooft and Greg Jones and the late Glenn Robinson and everyone with the Black Zillions, Rashad Evans, they felt like their guy was going to break through and eventually win a UFC title. He is 18 seconds away from doing just that.
But Woodley, we were all waiting for him to unload and let some combinations go. He kind of just stayed stagnant through the whole fight, and Usman just stayed ahead, always first, keeping a high offense and out grappling, out wrestling, out striking, and beating Tyron Woodley.
That's it. We got a new champ, folks.
Africa unite. Kamaru Usman has done it.
Incredible.
He has dominated Tyron Woodley tonight. Woodley comes over to congratulate the soon-to-be new UFC welterweight champion. This was the first time Kamaru Usman's daughter had seen him fight live, and certainly picked a good fight to have her here for. No surprise to see the emotions pour out of Kamaru Usman.
Just absolutely incredible. What a performance. I mean, we knew that he was a talent, a special talent, coming into this fight tonight. The big question was, how would he do against the best in the world? And it turns out he is the best in the world.
Well put.
It was a shutout.
This fight replay is brought to you by Nemiroff, bold character since 1872.
Usman with a nasty left elbow cuts Woodley, and that was the beginning of the end. From here, it just never went any other way. Huge takedown using his hips to get the leverage he needs, and the ground and pound from the mount position. Complete control in the mount position. Tons of body shots, tons of uppercuts. They traded. They had an awesome round here. These two traded, and you know, Woodley landed a big knee, but Usman just came over the top with elbows and just huge slam at the end while Woodley was looking for a guillotine. This fight was all Usman, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely incredible. He will be 10-0 in the UFC. He will join Henry Cejudo as the second man to get that new championship belt, and what a moment between father and daughter. Wow. Absolutely incredible. There's a new welterweight king. His name is Kamaru Usman. The official decision is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile. Catch all the action with Metro by T-Mobile. Get knockout coverage on a network that rivals the big guys for way less. With this championship decision now is Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. The judges score the contest 50-44, 50-44, and 50-45 for the winner by unanimous decision and new UFC undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Kamaru